Hey, welcome to uh the exciting conclusion of my fighting in Poland, either in Theater of War or Command Ops 2. This is the last battle I have set in that campaign here. The end of the Polish campaign in Theater of War. And I don't really have anything for combat mission that covers Poland in 1939. Not with, I mean, Combat Mission Africa Corps can do some of the France 1940 stuff, but scenario uh, scenario creators in Combat Mission don't really have the right resources to put together a Poland 1939 scenario. So, I am going to be on the defensive here. We get the briefing here. For sure, definitely on the defensive here. Hold and defend your positions in the area specified. The German Third Army is making a quick dash for eastern Poland. Their goal is to push past and outflank our forces in the north. Polish High Command has decided to concentrate as many forces as possible in the southeastern regions of the country. German forces must be prevented from breaking through our front lines. So, we will see how long I can hold. I'm pretty confident these reserves will show up eventually. Since I am starting on the defensive, I will exchange those tanks for anti-tank. Wait, can I not? Huh. Okay, I guess I don't get to do that. Well, in that case, I'll take those tanks back. Oh, H-35. Be seeing a lot more of those when start fighting in France. I guess in that case, there's not really much I can pull over from the reserves tab. I guess I'll get started. Actually, defending Poland these last few days kind of made me wonder if War Thunder, if Gaijin will ever consider adding a Poland tech tree. I mean, I guess, like, pretty much everything post World War II is going to be like the Soviet tech tree because Warsaw Pact since then. But it'd be interesting to, take the 7TP into action and the TKS for, some of the low tier action.
Otrzymano nowe zadanie.
You got it. Can't really move those sandbag defenses. So is it best to leave those anti-tank guns where they are? Or should I try and give them some bushy concealment? One thing I want to do is move some of these infantry into minis will fit into these somewhat greater cover here. Higher survivability against artillery if they are in these little, not exactly dugouts, but indents in the trench. Not enough of them to house all of my infantry, but enough for some of them. Oh, the squads are mixed up here. Okay, we have one anti-tank rifle. I will have you back there a little ways. Give them a little bit of depth. Okay, and the rest of them just gotta spread out as much as we can. Probably about as good as I'm gonna get. Oh, right, I have tanks back here. They should, of course, get the concealed positions that I can give them here. Try to stash them away in bushes. That's not a very well hidden tank, is it? That's a little bit better. TKSs. What am I going to do with the TKSs? That's a machine gun TKS. That's machine gun TKS. These aren't going to be of much use against the enemy tanks. Maybe I should move these 7 TPs back a little bit more, give them some depth. Okay, yeah, the TKS is for sure. I want back and reverse slope here. We'll keep them safe until most of the armored threats have been dealt with, if we can manage to deal with most of the armored threats. And then they can peek out to deal with the infantry once they get close. Now, some of this looks pretty familiar, doesn't it? We'll just ignore the fact that this is exactly the same map that I fought the first Polish battle on. The one that wasn't part of the campaign, the standalone scenario command decisions. Okay. Not really a lot I can fiddle around with on this defense. It's either gonna hold or it's not, and I don't think there's actually much I can do to influence it. Oh, except I can. Attack. Excuse me? You mean to attack someone? New enemy forces appearing to the south. Way down here. Yeah, no, I don't have the strength to be attacking anyone. I'm going to enforce everyone kneel down for extra cover. Just to increase survivability against enemy artillery. Does mean we're not getting a whole lot of spotting over the parapet. Okay, now that order I can follow. Oh, and I do have mortars. That'll be useful in dealing with the enemy infantry. Not a lot that they're gonna... These aren't gonna be terribly helpful against the enemy tanks. And, as I've said before, Theater of War does somewhat overrepresent the number of tanks that'll typically be present on the battlefield. I mean, I guess if you assume that this is always... Oh, I didn't do a very good job of putting you in that indent. French indent there. Oh, okay, they are on my left. Ooh, that looked like a good hit. I wonder if that was enough to knock out that 20mm gun. It's already been immobilized. And another Panzer 35. Panzer 35. And infantry. Oh yeah, that Panzer II's seen better days. Oh, you know, one thing I do want to make sure infantry don't go running about on their own initiative. But you are... Yeah, he's close enough that... I'm going to call in those mortars. And it doesn't look like the Germans are going to be calling in artillery on me, so I'll let my riflemen stand up, start shooting. I've yet to have much luck with anti-tank rifles. They don't seem to actually be terribly effective in practice. Even, like, I would have thought, like, I knew by mid-war anti-tank rifles were basically useless. I would have thought that early war they could accomplish something. You know, he's got enough armor penetration. At least once the tanks get in close. Is the post-penetration effects don't seem to be enough to actually accomplish much. We're shooting at that one. Ooh, already down an anti-tank gun. Focus on the closer one. Okay, force them to abandon the Panzer II. German infantry I can deal with pretty well. Helps being dug in here. Okay. I don't know what knocked him out, but we did eventually manage to knock out that Panzer 35. Okay. The German troops advancing from a direction that I'm actually prepared to receive them from. Okay, we've pretty much dealt with the enemy infantry, so... Some more Panzer 35. Got a couple of holes punched through the turret. I'm gonna go ahead and advance this TKS forward. Oh, don't go advancing without expressing directions to do so. Oh, fall back. There are more tanks that I hadn't spotted. Another Panzer 35T. They're Czech-built tanks, captured by the Germans when they annexed Czechoslovakia before the war. Why the naming convention is different from the other German tanks. You get Panzer 1s, Panzer 2s, Panzer 3s, Panzer 4s, and then Panzer 35Ts and Panzer 38Ts. I think the T is indicating that it's a foreign-built tank. I might be wrong about that. Use some reinforcements. Oh, both of my anti-tank guns are out of action. Okay. The 7TP here is my only anti-tank weapon at the moment. Well, okay, there's the anti-tank rifle. But, again, fat lot of good it is. Please be a fat lot of good. Get him, get him, get him! I think I saw it hit there. Oh, okay. And the 7TP is knocked out. I did manage to knock out 2 Panzer 35Ts. So, okay, this hasn't exactly been a stellar defense here. The Germans aren't in excruciating pain from the loss in armored forces they've taken today, so far anyway. But, I mean, they didn't get away scot-free. That's got to count for something. Get some mortars. Falling over there. Yes. Nope. Reinforcements. Where? Ah, okay. The infantry are going to be in some trouble until I can actually get them formed up on the other side of the bridge. Well, everyone here is going to be in trouble until I can get them formed up on the other side of the bridge. Okay, but we got a preview of a couple of French tanks here. There's R-35s. See how well they can perform here. Their armor is pretty good. And their guns are good enough to get through the armor we're dealing with here. Okay, you guys at least spread out a little bit on the far end of the bridge until it's your time to go. Got adequate armor penetration to get through the Panzer 35Ts. And it should even be enough to get through the Panzer 3s and 4s. And... I didn't exactly call in the mortars in the most optimal way. We've knocked out the Panzer 35T. That one, anyway. Lost my AT rifleman. Yet, did he manage to get anything accomplished before he died? I shouldn't speak ill of the dead. He did the best he could with what he had. Rather than just charging straight in, maybe I should think out how I'm going to use these tanks efficiently. Well, one thing, let's not go in piecemeal. Let's form up in the dead ground here, behind the ridge here. In this depression on our side of the bridge. The infantry, no doubt, do not appreciate me delaying bringing the tanks over. I think that might be the first Panzer IV we've seen all campaign. Seen plenty of the light tanks, Panzer Is, 2s, and Panzer 35Ts. I haven't seen many Panzer 38Ts. Yeah, get into the late war. You can imagine this thing with a longer gun, and then kind of spaced armor around the turret and along the side of the hull, and that's your sort of workhorse of the mid to late war German army. Right now it's kind of just a support tank. I don't say just a support tank, it's one of the most important tanks they have. But the Panzer III is supposed to be the sort of the main battle tank to the extent that concept applies in this time period. Okay. Get the infantry back a little bit longer. Guys. Alright. Have these tanks stop here and fight off the enemy tanks to their direct front. This Vickers tank here has somewhat less armor than the R-35s. Gonna see these things pop back up again when I get around to Fortress Italy. They are gonna be a lot less capable by then. Right now, they're actually not bad. Okay, yeah, this turret is already knocked out of action. Well, don't expose your flank. I suppose it doesn't make much difference. Yeah, the side armor is the same as the front armor here. Ooh, we managed to knock one of them out. Okay, the trench has been overrun. Oh, set the engine on fire. I don't think I've seen that in this game before. Okay, that one's definitely knocked out. Did they hit it with high explosive there? Okay, that Panzer IV is kind of a prestige kill at this point. I definitely want to take out that. Okay, well, my hopes of doing that are greatly reduced. Why were you having trouble killing this thing? No, in any case, the turret's shot out, so it doesn't pose much of a threat at the moment. Okay. We are kind of screwed. I shouldn't have brought the infantry across the bridge at all. That was a bad move. Okay, I think Panzer 38 is blocking your field of fire. Turn. You get your armor at about 45 degrees. Your side armor is almost as strong as your front armor. Actually, your side armor is stronger than your front armor. Who designed this thing? Oh, bugger. Turret's out. Run! Run away! Run away! Get out of there! Okay, I did not manage to knock out 5 German tanks in the end. Didn't manage to take out one of the Panzer IVs. But, what do we got here? We've got, maybe at least damage one of the Panzer IVs. Oh yeah, we hit, the gun mantlet there. So that gun might actually be out of action. Has it been shooting? Okay, no, the gun isn't out of action. That's unfortunate. This tank hasn't moved in a while. I think it's disabled. I know I didn't hit it on the left side, so that must have... go through. And I think every tank I knocked out in this battle was a Panzer 35. This was a Panzer 35 heavy battle. That gun is chewed up.
Nie ukończono zadania.
Yeah, this is my most decisive defeat. Well, okay, I was badly beaten the last 2 times, well, the last 3 times too. Okay, now the first one, the main problem was I couldn't actually retreat. Yeah, okay, so, defense of Poland ended about as you'd expect, in utter defeat. But I think I made it painful on the German invader. And we'll see if I have better luck in France. I promise I'll start winning battles eventually.